Check. We're good. We're doing it live. Let's do it live. Breeze Nation, what's good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. We got the squad in the building.
Hey, where'd that ad lib come from?
The squad ad-lib? You're not rocking with it?
Hey, I dig it. I dig it. I love it, man.
In the chat, y'all already know how we do, man. We
What's
of
good,
course
fam?
have the super producer Joel Holt in the back, and you can't see him on camera right now, but Jay Garf in the cut.
Jake in the cut. What up, baby?
There you go.
you go.
Gang signs. No
Appreciate
gang signs. No gang signs.
Showing
We are
love.
not gang.
Gang signs, please, no gang signs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always, man. Listen, I want to hear what you guys' biggest questions are heading into the 2023 season about this Chicago Bears team. Oh, okay. All right. We talking on camera, huh? That's what we doing. But no, I want to hear. No, that was my.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear you guys.
What is he talking about?
Bro, that mother just started talking to me. I was thrown off. Biggest questions, biggest opinions heading into the 2023 season. And of course, the super producer has a special surprise for everybody in the building. He has compiled his list in a, what'd you say it is? It's like about a 14-minute video?
It's 15 minutes.
15-minute video.
So we're going to have a movie section, right? Imagine the teacher rolling in the desk like back in the day where we get to see the top 10 quarterbacks based on his opinion in Bears history, and we'll be reacting to that live on the air. We got so much coming for you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. And at the end of the day, Rashawn McCants was trash. But let's jump into the show, man. Kid,
Hold on. Clap it up. Clap it up.
What?
Clap it up. Hey, Joe, switch to you. Clap it up. Switch to you, Joe. Clap it up.
What we doing?
Everybody got to clap it up. You want to know why? My boy Pat was on there looking good today.
He just wasn't on.
My boy Pat was looking good today.
Oh, well,
He's up there looking like a pure vet up there. That's actually a great comment. This is actually how it felt.
Did you wait a minute? Did you just tip of
There
the
you
cap?
go. There you go.
Cowboy.
Hey, Derek G, the respect situation going on right here. Like, absolutely, man. Up there looking great. We got to give it to you, man. Congratulations. They gave you a moment. And you absolutely killed it. So we expect to see more of you up there. We expect more of you. Think of this as the talk review. We expect to see more of you in the near future.
Yeah, some pointers though. What you need to do moving forward.
Okay, all right. Okay. Pointers up in this, John. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Nah, listen. I appreciate listen. We don't get here without first off the team. My brother's rocking with me this entire time is one of the biggest things. I thought I could always do it myself. Lone wolf this, John. I'd be tired. But yeah, I mean, like we got a great product here, and this product took it over to ESPN 1000, and they wanted to rock with us. And it seemed like all my bosses were really, really happy with how the show turned out today. Of course, my co-host today, Shay Norling. Shout out to Shay. He was really rocking with the show as well. So, I mean, we had a good time, man. We had a fun time, and I can't wait to do it again. That was a great. Today was a good day, as Ice Cube once said. You know what I mean? Like that's really where it ends up at.
Can we get music? We can't get licensing for can we play music?
ESPN can't even play music. If you see our live streams, they all demonetized because of how much music
I was going to say,
play on the radio show.
They were playing Poison.
Yeah, but I'm sitting in there. That's the tough part, right? So I'm sitting in there reacting to the music that's happening, and no one else is moving. Meanwhile, I'm in there Poison.
Dude, they were jamming.
Like, wait, am I not supposed to be dancing to this? Am I supposed to treat this like a regular day? No, but appreciate all you guys that came through for that. Appreciate all you guys who have shown love. Let's jump into the show, man. Some of the biggest questions for the Chicago Bears heading into this 2023 season. We're pretty much here, right? Like the season starts next Sunday. Really excited to see what this team is going to be able to do. What are your biggest questions that still remain on your mind heading into this season? I mean, I'll crack it off. My biggest question, what the heck is going on?
Between the sheets in my home.
What the hell is going on? Let me explain. Not the zoom in right on point, though. Zoom in was on point. No, but no, what's happening with the offensive line? That's my real question. Where we're at right now, I'm sitting here looking at, okay, right. The last thing we heard about Nate Davis was what kept Nate Davis out of training camp, what kept him out of practice, injury and other things. What other things?
Things you don't need to know about, my boy.
No. Listen, I get it, right? Like at the end of the day, nothing. It is what it is. But like, are we really sitting here? We just paid this guy $30 million. $30 million. And he can't be bothered to show up to practice because of other things. Injury, I get. Being hurt, I get. Dealing with whatever you're dealing with, I get that. Other things, what you have going on, bro? What was the wife?
Maybe the other things is like personal stuff that he don't want to disclose. You know,
in my opinion, our biggest questions are the O-line, D-line, regardless. And we're still going into the season where I think with Poles said we're 80% there. So we're still at a position where we have to get that figured out. Now, mind you, we're still trying to get the guys that are there can even stay healthy. I mean, Jenkins with 2 calf muscle strains, and like you said, we got the guard out of there. We got broken hand Lucas Cody Whitehair with a broken hand. We don't know if Lucas Patras is finally doing something.
Broken something on the hand. We don't know if it's a broken hand yet. But something's broken on the hand.
Braxton Jones is still a question mark. Shout out to Baki, by the way. I seen him on the chat when you were on the show, and he's been there rocking with you all day.
Baki be rocking, bro. We gotta get Baki. I told Baki on games, bro. I told Baki, you ever get a camera, we'd add you.
Yeah.
like we have
and V Dog. I saw V Dog. I saw Baki.
I saw V Dog. I saw Baki. Saw Jay Crit in the chat. Man, a lot of people showing love today.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat today. This is the day for the chat to be able to chime in on some of this as well, man. D-line, are y'all still concerned about the D-line though?
Yes.
Really?
Well,
Yannick Ngakoue to me is a big answer.
He's a good piece, but I think he is a part of where we need the 2 rookies. Hopefully, I want to see them fast forward to, okay, these are capable starters, if not Pro Bowlers, by the end of the year type stuff. Like one of these guys needs to be like a hit.
I mean, I get you, but right, like here's the thing, Zach Pickett, you did enough where you can wait on your rookies.
Mm-hmm.
I've got DeMarcus Walker. That's 7 sacks last season. I've got Yannick Ngakoue. That's 10.5 sacks. Hopefully more. Like I feel like I can wait on that. I feel like, okay, now I have my rookies in a position where, okay, we're good. You know what I mean?
Well, in terms of the real questions are, we know that the defense will be able to come back together. We've always been able to historically build a defense. Yep. It's, will this offense by the way, like leading into the video with the Bears quarterbacks, there's always this correlation of bad O-line with bad quarterback play. And every time we had a good line is when we actually did quite well. So everything the thing is Justin Fields has enough athleticism to thwart bad offensive line play. So we need the O-line to really do their job. Otherwise, think about what Tom Brady did. And was it 07?
Yeah, but the problem.
But he was already a champion at that point.
Listen, no. I'm talking about the line that Tom Brady had. Tom Brady used to sit there, iron his clothes, do his taxes.
That NFL's over with, though.
Yeah,
I'm saying good line.
I get you, but that NFL is over with, though, right? Like to me, really,
talent has gotten better.
Think about this: Joe Burrow didn't have a good line until 7 weeks into the season. Yeah, he got the heck beat out of him. 100%.
He made it to the Super Bowl, but he may not make it after some.
Hey, that's totally on Cincy. I wouldn't use that as a good example. They absolutely didn't spend money in the right situation.
Right, they end up getting a line together. They try to fix it. They didn't play him in preseason, whatever. However you feel about that, but realistically, you're talking about a team that tried to fix things, or you're talking about a team that basically the offensive line wasn't there. Joe Burrow made the best of it. At what point do we look at our quarterback and say, hey, guess what? This is the situation that we're in. We're trying to fix it, but dudes keep falling. DG Daniels in the chat said, biggest concern of the season, the O-line. Can Patrick and Whitehair hold up the whole season? Can Braxton stop a bull rush? Why is Elson on the Texans or Island on the Texans? But for me,
I see you, Steve-O.
it's a conversation based on, have you done enough? In theory, right? Of course, injury you can't predict, but have you done enough in theory to sit there and look at Justin Fields and go, yes, he's still got enough where we should see production? I think the Bears have. Guess what? Even if Justin Fields is running, Justin Fields can run. It's not like we're dealing with Tom Brady back there.
No, I'm just saying in a perfect world, I didn't bring my GM hat today to flip it, but I just feel that if any questions, I'm I like our receiving core. I like our running backs. I like our linebackers. I like our secondary. But the question is the D line and O line, but O line more so than worried about the D line. So that's what I'm looking at.
I got a different question. It's more along the lines of did you give yourself enough time to evaluate it? We all came into this knowing that this was the evaluation season, things of that nature, because now you have the right pieces, what you think in place. And as Jay said, hey, listen, you put it in a vacuum in perfect situation, you expect certain things to be there. Well, now we're already starting off with, hey, this line's not going to be there. The fact that we're having this conversation means that you know that there's some things didn't go right. So now, hey, did you make the right moves with the moves that Poles made to give yourself a real opportunity to, one, vet your QB? Because what if the line is totally trash again?
Yeah.
Do you have that to hang on? Is that going to be because next year you're going to have that conversation?
Yeah.
Well, here.
Right. So did you give yourself enough time on that one? What if he has like Daniel Jones situation? Now I think he's better than Daniel Jones. I don't want to say that, but Daniel Jones had to run for his life a lot.
Yeah.
We saw that. What if he has that situation? We don't see him as a true passer. Now what do you do? Like, do you sit there? Next year's QB class is a lot better than the last two.
Yeah.
I would say.
So
like, what do you do now? Like, how do you do it?
Right? Why do we think that all of a sudden, right? Like, this is the conversation that I think when people are talking about the biggest questions heading into 2023, stuff like that, and like the video, if you agree, right? We have a baseline to go off of from last year, right?
Yeah.
Like he didn't, like all of a sudden, like it seems like in everyone's mind he got worse.
Well, let me clarify what I'm saying. Not there, Breeze Nation, everybody talking about the Tom Brady comparison. All I'm saying is a good offensive line in general, whether the technicalities or not. We're still going to do well because of Justin Fields' ability to extend plays, and then we have playmakers. So the line is actually probably going to get more credit than maybe they deserve because he can extend plays. So I just would like to see really like a true bookend, like left tackle, a true, right tackle. If the rookie, what's our rookie's name?
Dexter?
No,
which one?
The right tackle.
Jeez.
If he can look like a capable starter for the next 5-10 years, great. Like, can we just have some linemen where we can hold on to these guys for some years? That's all.
The interesting thing about it is how one thing impacts the other. Like when you sit there and say, hey, do we have the right line? That immediately impacts us evaluating O-line, rather. That immediately impacts how Justin plays. And that impacts how he can perform and stuff like that. So that's what, like, to me, it's not a Justin critique. It's more of a Ryan Poles thing. Like, how does he handle that? Because we're still in a relatively new regime. Ryan Poles is his first time at the GM, like first stint. Right. So, like, how do you handle that situation? We're still dealing with a lot of unknowns as how he actually processes that. And so now I wonder, hey, did you give yourself enough time to actually think? I'm done talking about whether or not Justin is going to be good. I think he's going to be good, and I hope so. But is the situation going to give him an opportunity before you sit there and say, hey, you shouldn't be paying him $40 million a year? I guess that's going to be a situation that comes up. Like, are we going to give him Daniel Jones money?
But see,
I guess here's my question, right? Did you feel good about the offense leaving last season?
No.
Encouraged, right?
I was encouraged.
You added much better weapons.
I didn't feel good about it.
Like ridiculously amount better.
I think we all agree that even though they won 3 games, they really should have had like 7 games. And I think this is a 10. This to me is still a playoff contending team, not a championship contending team at this moment. And maybe it grows at the end of the year. We'll see. But I think that we are encouraged with what we have. I mean, the guy, first of all, we're all just speculation
at this point.
That's all it is.
Listen, week 1 comes and we get blown out by the Packers by 40. We all having a very different conversation.
Hey, listen, we win by 40 though. We're talking about his best team ever.
40, I'm cooking you. You know what I mean? Like I'm cooking everybody that was like Packers. Man, shut up.
We gonna throw a parade. It's a parade in our city every week after that.
My city, yay!
This is some Toronto against the Bulls when they beat the Mike Jordan Bulls back in like 96.
No, facts.
So
I just to me, right, like if you felt encouraged at all by the offense last season, and I did, you know what I mean? I understand the limitations that come with it. I know that there are things that, you're sitting there going the other way on like, oh, you weren't able to complete passes. You weren't able to get the ball downfield. Yeah, I didn't have an offensive line that was remotely entertaining or remotely talented in the slightest. And I had a receiving core that was even worse.
I like what Coach T said. Like we're too busy focused on these players. Are we really looking at the coordinators? Are they really the guys to do the job?
Yeah, but you still got to give the coordinators talent for them to go out there and make plays.
Right, but does that mean? Trust me, we can have some bad coordinators that have talent. A la what's my man that took over for
Nathaniel Hackett?
Not for Hackett on the defense.
Jesus,
Mel
that's
Tucker.
what-
We had Mel Tucker that took over. He was not that great. We've had John Shoup, the worst offensive coordinator of all time.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of them.
I think you don't get a fair assessment of them though.
Yeah.
Right. And the credit, I give credit to Luke Getsy where a lot of people take credit away. People wanted Luke Getsy to run these schemes, run this system, run this. Hey, you got to be able to throw the ball here. You need to have more check downs. You need to have more. To who?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because after week 7, all of a sudden, the offense started being able to pick up, but you had to have a realization of, oh yeah, there's nobody out there.
I would say like this kind of goes back to like, when you're building a team, like remember when they were hiring all these guys and it was like, can we get an established guy, so like Luke Getsy, this is the quarterback's coach that was under that same offense. And it's like, hopefully he runs this system the way that he learned it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, they're all still growing too, because he's only in year 2, right? This is year 2.
Who, Getsy?
Yeah.
Getsy's in year 2.
Yeah, they're all in year 2. I mean, Eberflus is still, they're all in the same time frame.
100%. No, I'm with you on that. I agree with you. I think that the question for me is not can guys go out there and be able to make plays. It's now, are you putting those guys in similar positions that you wanted to put them in last year, right? Because there were times where Luke Getsy could call plays. Can you complete it? If I throw that pass to Equanimeous St. Brown,
I would say like
to DJ Moore instead this season, does he catch
The fact that you say Equanimeous St. Brown first is
listen, that tells you all. I mean, listen, that's what
something.
ball went through his hands, right? If I'm throwing that same pass to DJ Moore that I tried to throw to Equanimeous St. Brown, does the ball go through his hands? Probably not. If I'm hitting Cole Kmet over the middle more often, right? Are we able to move the chains downfield? If I'm I feel like when people talk about Justin Fields, they talk about him as if he's going to regress to what he was this rookie year. When in the second half of all of last season, we were excited about what this kid was doing.
I disagree with that. I don't think people talk about him regressing. I think now it's like, okay, you have more opportunity. You have more opportunity than you had that particular year. Now we get to see more of your flaws. And now they get to pick that apart. At first, you could hang your hat on the fact that he had no opportunity, no room to throw. We looked really like a real dysfunctional team, and he can use that as an excuse. And that for his reputation served to be like a crutch. Like it was the truth, but you can lean on that. Now it's like, well, you should perform now. We're starting to pick apart the things he can't do, even though he's a young QB. And it's probably not fair to do so. It's going to happen. It just is what it is. So I think that's what people are looking at. Okay, he's still making certain moves, even though they didn't get to see anything, even though they just ran these high school plays, even though stuff like that. But when you come out and you say, hey, Justin Fields is going to be better, he's going to be more accurate. And the only sample size we have out of 20 attempts is a bunch of passes that look really off, that didn't look like they were on target, that lacked touch. It's like, all right, we might be in for a long season. I think that's what you're hearing, not necessarily like they think he's going to regress. It's like, all right, now we get to see him actually throw. I don't think he may be as accurate as we think he is, type situation. And that's what I saw this morning for some people as well.
Can we kind of just stop? We're a little too premature.
It really is.
I think first of all, last year they're putting in a new system. They're getting all these players in. So whether Alan Williams, Luke Getsy, all of them, I mean, the whole point is hopefully that from what I saw, I am encouraged that there were plays called and made that they dialed up that didn't work. I felt like for the first time we looked like a real NFL team.
Yeah.
We didn't look like you just go down there, they just draw a play up and then just, falls apart. So I was encouraged, like, okay, we have a system in place and we know this system works. Just like the cover 2. So even though with Alan Williams coming in, it's like, well, we know what a cover 2 looks like. And that typically, if you have the talent, it's still a scheme that works with the pressure. If the D line doesn't get any pressure, then they can't free up the linebacker, like the Urlacher slash the Derek Brooks role. That's the guy who's able to, play that third safety. So if we don't have that, he's able to roam the field.
Yeah.
If we don't have that hard hitting safety like the John Lynch type, like the Mike Browns, if we don't have those guys, then none of this stuff works. But we do know that it beats bad quarterbacks.
No, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm one that.
That's a good question.
And I see Coach T in the chat as well. He says the best time to assess a coordinator is with lesser talent. The coordinator should be able to manufacture some semblance of good football. Okay.
I think they've done that.
I do kind of believe that.
Is Bill Belichick a good defensive coordinator?
Mm-hmm. He was amazing in New York.
They allowed the 5th most touchdowns last season.
Well, you got to have talent. You got to have talent.
Actually, they allowed the 3rd most touchdowns last season.
But you didn't look at that Patriots defense and think that they were totally incompetent. You realized that there was a good system in place and realized that they just didn't have the talent. I think that's what he's saying. You can be able to see that coordinator can put a scheme out there and you can totally blame it on the talent as opposed to what we've been seeing where we've questioned both.
I didn't look at the Bears offense and say that it was completely devoid of scheme. I looked at it and said, you didn't have talent. Why am I going to throw this pass out there to Byron Pringle if he going to drop it?
Yeah.
Like realistically, like if we having the same conversation, defense versus offense, why am I going to sit here and throw the football to this dude if he's not going to catch the ball?
Well, who
was going to catch the ball last season?
One, he gets paid to do that. Your QB gets paid to throw.
Yeah, but
you can't run every single play.
No,
that's why you do it. So
at the end of the day, right? Like I saw Luke Getsy transition his whole mindset of, okay, hey, we got to figure something else out because nothing we've got is going to work. The talent we have is not going to work for this system. That's why I give Luke Getsy credit. Now, this season, he has 0 excuses, right? If he comes out and he looks bad, 100%. We all own it. You can't be struggling with DJ Moore, Justin Fields, what appears to be Roschon Johnson, but 2 really good running backs in your system right now. You got Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, all of that, right? Like, but if we're looking at what Luke Getsy did as a coordinator last season, and we're saying, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you run this more? Why didn't you? Because he had no talent. We all agree that offense had no talent. And by the way, not only did you have no positional talent, you had no offensive line either.
Mm-hmm. It's all a constructed orchestra.
Yeah.
It doesn't just work where one player can stand. If the left tackle doesn't block and the offensive line is compromised, everything you did doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You got to have the talent to do it. And so hopefully we get a good GM here that can identify talent. He came from Kansas City. It looks like Kansas City is the new standard now, or at least one of the standards.
Listen, 5 AFC title.
Yeah,
that's
new standard. That's what I'm saying. So
but that's different. They've had 3-4 generational talents on their team. I don't know if I'd make that the standard for how you build a team because you can't do anything about that. Like Tyreek Hill is a generational talent. Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent.
Draft him.
Travis Kelce is going to be, I think Travis Kelce would have still been Travis Kelce, maybe not with as many completions. But he's still going to be a top 5.
No, you got to draft him.
Hey, I love this comment here. R. Hunt. Pat, that doesn't make sense. We have the best rushing offense in football. Who was running? Oh, I hate when people say dumb stuff.
Justin Fields.
Who was running? My God.
You got 1,200 of those yards coming from your QB.
Did I miss David Montgomery's 1,500 yard, 12 touchdown season? Did I miss that last season? Is that on me?
Yeah, you did. You did.
Is that on me? I missed that.
You want to know what? He loaned Justin Fields some of his yards.
He loaned Justin Fields some yards. That's what it is.
Give us the yards.
He loaned him.
He loaned it to him.
He loaned him his yards. You know what I mean? Like, my God, come on, guys. Yes, they had the best rushing offense in the NFL last season. How many of those rushing plays were, oh, Justin, wait a minute, hold on. Oh, never mind.
Right.
He's down the field. Okay, all right. Come on, guys. Let's not do this. Like, I love the rushing offense comment. I love
to his credit, though, he did have 800 yards. That's pretty good, decent.
no.
No, that's
No.
that's average, if anything.
Hey, listen, you see me hiding behind this. The only thing I can hide behind.
again?
Yeah, like it was that's what you want me to do.
Yeah,
1,000 yards in the NFL right now, 60 yards a game.
1,200 is, last year Montgomery had 800 yards rushing. Herbert had 731 yards. Now that's good to get 1,500 out
That's
of
good to get both
both.
out of them.
Justin had 12 though, right?
Yeah, Justin had 1,143 yards.
So he had
400 less than 2 running backs combined.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I get it, right? We want the 1, we want the 2, we want the 1-2 punch, all of that. Listen, it's 60 yards a game. If I got a running back on my team that can't get 60 yards a game, I shouldn't have that running back on my team.
and that's a nice retort. I can't be mad at that, Arhunt. We do complain about him holding on to the ball, but they also do that to Lamar Jackson, which is why he almost didn't get paid. They also did it to a lot of QBs who are known for running. It just is what it is. That's the nature of that beast.
Now, listen, there's a difference, right? There's times where Justin Fields literally looks at a wide open receiver and don't throw the ball. There's two different things.
Both could be true, right?
Justin has pressure in his face and has to make a move. And that move last season was to run. I think the goal that we want to see this season is for that move to be, I got to get this ball out quick because there's pressure probably coming from the right-hand side because I don't know what everything's going to be yet, or maybe up the middle, depending on if Lucas Patrick is 100% healthy or not. And guess what? Now all of a sudden, boom, I got DJ Moore standing right there. I got Cole Kmet sitting right there. I got Robert Tonyan sitting right there, right? I want to see him make that decision and say, I'm going to throw this ball here real quick and just get what I need here.
Yeah. We're growing. I don't think there's, if any question, it's just O-line. I think everything else has been put in place. Give
Ryan Poles a lot of credit for what he did.
Hey, King Poles, man.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I give him credit for taking a chance. Here's the thing. He put the right people in place. You have no idea if it's going to actually work out.
He wins either way.
Yeah,
Even
well,
if
You have no idea if it's going to actually work. You don't know if the players are going to be healthy. You don't know if it's like a lot of that stuff you can do, but that's not his job. His job is to get you the talent. It's everybody else's job to make it work on the field.
Well, listen,
So
they're all changed.
Poles did his job.
Yeah.
And so I'm good with that, which is why I sit there and question how he's going to look at it, because he's a former player. And as much as we hear about patience in the chat, and this is not pointing anyone out, the league is not patient anymore.
No.
This is not a patient league anymore.
If Justin looks bad this year, they're going to go try and package picks for Caleb Williams. That's why you put yourself in that.
That's why you put yourself in that. That's what it is. These kids are coming out of college more prepared. They're training earlier. They're getting access to NFL in professional grade stuff earlier, so they're more developed. It's no longer, hey, wait and see. This is not early 2000s when you give a QB 4 or 5 years or after his first contract and say, oh, he's still young. You don't get that. And even then, that was never the case. Some of the legends that we talk about almost didn't make it.
Well, that's because the money is dictating all of this. I mean,
that's true.
You're talking $250 million guaranteed. Now that the guaranteed money is in play, you can't afford to make that mistake. So to tie up somebody like that, and that's eating up all your cap, and you sign them to a 4 or 5 year extension, you can't. This is business instead of just, we love you, but we can't afford that.
Yeah. Coach T in the chat, shout out Coach T, said to pass last point, I got to get the ball out quick, minus the checkdowns Luke didn't call, dog slants, curls, and outs. His route tree was bipolar screens or deep routes. And to that, I say, who you want him to throw that to? We watched when he called screens last year, and they either bounced off people's hands, hit the ground, or, right, you didn't have the blocking to get the screen pass out. Now, slants I'll give you, but who's catching the slant?
That's also a catch-22, which is why I'm in agreement with you that it's still too early.
It's just one of those things where, like, yes, I get you want to call. Here's the thing, right? Guess what? I'll use this as an example. I can sit here and call corner 3 for Patrick Beverly in the corner every time. How many times he gonna hit it?
4 out of 10. It's still 4 out of 10.
I'm gonna end up losing more games than not if I call that play more times than not.
And that's a good percentage for a 3-point shooter.
Now he like 34% though, but
His 3-point shoot?
He like 34% from 3 for his career. But it's just one of those things where it's like I can call this play, but realistically, is it going to make sense? Do I have the blocking in place? I said dogs, but I meant Diggs. I knew what you meant. I was just reading the comment. But no, I get what you're saying. But here's the thing: I call a dig route, but I don't have no time because Sam Mustipher fell over his own feet. So what's the point of me calling this dig route?
I always question this. Like we talk about patience and stuff like that. How do you know? Show me where you have the answer to your own question. Like, how do you know you have a QB you can win with? If we did, we wouldn't be evaluating as to whether they would be in contract extension talks already if we knew we had that QB.
No, this is it's smart.
That's a real question. Like, seriously, how do you know?
That's why they're doing this is set up to Poles wins either way. If he does great, we extend him. If he doesn't, we can move on.
That's what and I've said it many times. He gave himself an escape route. I love how he set himself up as a professional. He took CYA to the extreme and he executed it because that's exactly what you got to do. But at the end of the day, it's like, how do you know? You don't know yet. You can hope. You can hope, and we all hope that he is, but you don't know yet. This is the season to prove it.
But
we can't sit there and say we know.
I think
he led the league in rushing. I don't want my QB leading my anything in rushing. I don't want my QB to do that.
Listen.
I don't want that.
Listen, I'm fine with it if you also going out there and making passes when it's winning games and throw a touchdown.
Yeah, you got to be throwing 36 touchdowns to even be in the MVP conversation for that to even make sense. He ain't get that.
This is why I say what happens if Justin Fields is just middle of the pack. This is why I asked this question on ESPN today. This is why I want
a great question about
that because if just like realistically, you want to know when you know. Joe Burrow had nothing,
and you knew
Joe Burrow had nothing. Did we know Joe Burrow was cold?
Yeah. Facts.
We knew Joe Burrow was cold. Joe Burrow could win with nothing there. Now, granted, Justin Fields was behind the 8 ball. Joe Burrow had his head coach in place that already was going to go out there and give you offensive efficiency, different things like that. But if you know, right, you can be good, but you know with the play. Did we know Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
I knew. Play one. Deshaun Watson got out there. I was like, he's pretty good.
Hey, listen. He wasn't pretty good. He wasn't just pretty good.
I knew.
He was cold.
It took nothing.
And I just wish he wasn't so weird, but dog, he's cold.
Quarterback that took you to the AFC title game.
Right.
Because he knew from practice Pat Mahomes is better. You know. Now, I'm not saying that Justin Fields can't go out there and still show out, right? Jalen Hurts had this trajectory. Josh Allen had this trajectory. But those are guys that, guess what? I take Stephon Diggs away from Josh Allen. I take A.J. Brown away from Jalen Hurts. Who are they? Are we still as confident in those players? Are we still as confident in them being as dominant as they are? Are we still as confident in them going out there and being Super Bowl contenders? I don't think we are.
You still need talent.
You still need talent. But for some of them dudes, they ain't need talent. Deshaun didn't need talent.
Yes, he did. They didn't win. He still needed talent.
Bro, listen. But you knew he was good.
Yeah. You had to build around the guy.
We're asking, is Justin Fields good?
We think he is good.
I do think he is good.
Yeah.
But there's a question. After rookie year of Deshaun, there was no question.
Right.
Deshaun had me, you, Jeremy, and Kid blocking for him. And I still had no questions on whether he was good.
I would be an excellent right. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, not with Von Miller coming out there. You know what I mean? Like
I could do it.
And that's what I mean. That's why I wanted to have a conversation. Like, what if he just turns into a 4,400-yard guy? And we're sitting there and we're like, he's a great leader. He's not the best quarterback in the NFL. Maybe he's top 8.
I asked somebody this question. They actually fell out their chair. I said, what if he just turns out to be Geno Smith?
Oh.
Nah, Geno took too long. Geno was he already ahead of Geno. Geno was a terrible leader.
Yeah.
Geno threw for 30 touchdowns, 11 INTs on a 69% completion rate.
What year?
Last year.
He's been a journeyman. There's no pressure on him.
Hey, I see everybody in the chat. Didn't Watson have D-Hop? Deshaun Watson rookie year, he had tight ends blocking for him at 4 positions.
Yeah.
No, bro. We talk about D-Hop as the deep, bro. He had tight ends blocking for him.
But he also could move and make plays with his feet. He could extend.
but the question marks we sit here and talk about are Justin Fields. If Justin Fields doesn't have an offensive line, he's in trouble.
No, they just had.
Now, granted, right? First year, listen, Matt Nagy, much worse than Bill O'Brien.
Yep.
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 Matt Nagy, much worse than Bill O'Brien. I'm shooting Justin the bail on all of that.
Dog, that's how good Patrick Mahomes is. He made Matt Nagy look good.
It is what it is.
Did y'all realize that? Matt Nagy goes back to the Chiefs and he's like, man, Nags is great. It's like, no, dog, we saw he wasn't. Like, I don't know what you talking about.
Hey, listen, at the end of the day, I still think Matt Nagy is Matt Nagy. And sometimes, Andy Reid just steps in and be like, hey, Matt, you calling that bullshit again?
See, Nagy was a quarterback's coach. And then he gets to
Here's the thing. Everybody's good at something. Mark Trestman was good at something. You don't get to the NFL to a certain point and not be good at something.
Well,
except Jim Boylan. Jim Boylan's trash at everything.
He's a good scout.
He was an OC with.
He's a good scout. I'll give him that.
Well, Matt Nagy's probably a good quarterbacks coach.
He's a good scout. I don't know about
He's
quarterback.
probably a good quarterbacks coach. Yeah, I mean,
It's easy to sit there and say you're a good quarterback coach for someone who's already going to be great. That's like saying Doug Collins was a great what's the name because he had Michael Jordan.
because that's
He had freaking Michael Jordan. He was going to sit there. His game plan was give Michael the ball. Like that ain't no game plan.
It's very different because unprompted all the time, Pat Mahomes talks about Matt Nagy. Like nobody.
I'm going to talk about the man that boosts my ego all the time too.
Hey, listen, whatever it is, right? Like Pat Mahomes rocks with this guy. Sometimes that's the thing too, finding the right relationship. Find the relationship that works.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a part of the process, and that's what you want to see. Hey man, let's keep this thing moving along. Appreciate you guys showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We got a special premiere here on the channel for y'all, man, because the super producer Joel Holt.
Hey y'all, this is the coldest, most depressing thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
His top 10 quarterback list of all time in
Bears.
Chicago Bears history.
I mean,
It's a cold video. The production is A1. He did his thing.
Hey, listen, let's let the video speak for itself. Want to hear your feedback, want to hear your thoughts as well. Let's jump into this top 10 quarterbacks in Chicago Bears history,
also,
and then we'll give our reaction.
Now, mind you, it ain't necessarily that great of the talent that we've had, so I had to scrub and sort and find the stuff to make this work, but here we go.
Welcome to the Windy City Breeze's top 10 Chicago Bears quarterbacks. Finding a quarterback is very hard in the NFL. It's a position that only a few in the world can play. Not every franchise has had success at having one, if not many, over the course of the league, unlike the team up north, which has had stability for the last 30 years. With that being said, the Bears have went through a number of quarterbacks. Since 1985, there have been 16 starting quarterbacks and many fill-ins. There are multiple factors for a quarterback to be successful: talent, offensive scheme, coaching, offensive line, defense. So when compiling this list and ranking our QBs, those factors came into play. In honor of Justin Fields becoming the 17th starting quarterback since 1985, we are hoping he's able to have a long career with the Bears. And we are certain he will make this list shortly, if not hopefully finish among the top of the list. With that being said, we kick off the countdown with our number 10 Chicago Bears quarterbacks.
Number 10.
Number 10, Jim Miller. Jim Miller was a free agent signing in 1999. He was signed to replace Eric Kramer, who was lost to injury. Miller played 2 years in Pittsburgh before signing with the Bears. He played 3 years and played in 32 games. It was a short stint derailed by injuries. He quarterbacked the Dick Duran team that went 13-3 in 2001 and came up short against Philly in the divisional round. A hard slam from Hugh Douglas knocked him out of the game and the Bears out of the playoffs. The injuries caught up to him and he was cut in 2002. His best year was the 2001 season, where he threw for 2,299 yards with 13 touchdowns and 10 interceptions on 58% completion. In total, he compiled a 15-11 record, throwing for 5,867 yards with 34 touchdowns and 26 interceptions on 58% completion. He is 16th on the Bears' all-time passing list.
Number 9.
Number 9, Ed Brown. Ed Brown was the Bears quarterback from 1954 to 1961. Brown had pretty good teams. They lost a championship game in 1956 and had a pair of second-place finishes in the standings where he was the quarterback. Ed Brown was an MVP and a two-time Pro Bowl. His best season was the 1956 season, which in fact he was the MVP of the league. He threw for 1,667 yards with 11 touchdowns and 12 interceptions on 57% completion. In total, Ed Brown threw for 9,698 yards with 63 touchdowns and 88 interceptions. He played in 98 games and compiled a 39-25-2 record. He is 8th on the Bears' all-time passing list.
Number 8.
Number 8, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, hailing from Michigan, was drafted in the first round, the 26th pick in the 1987 draft. He was on the Bears from 1987 to 1993. He played a reserve role for the start of his career. He didn't become the starter until 1990. In that season, he played 14 games and the Bears went 11-5. He threw for 2,178 yards with 10 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He injured his shoulder and sat the last 2 games and the playoffs that year. In 1991, he became the first Bears quarterback to start in 16 games since Vince Evans in the 1970s. The Bears finished 11-5 that year, but lost in the wild card round against Dallas. The last 2 years of his career, the team regressed. He left the Bears in 1994 and signed with the Colts. In total with the Bears, he played in 89 games and compiled a 35-30 record. He threw for 11,567 yards with 50 touchdowns and 56 interceptions on 58% completion. He is 3rd on the Bears' all-time passing list.
Number 7.
Number 7, Eric Kramer. Eric Kramer was a prize free agent signing in 1994. The former Lions quarterback came heralded as the Bears were totally over the 1985 era. He played 49 games from 1994 to 1998. Unfortunately for Kramer, he wasn't able to overcome the woes of the supporting cast. Marred by injuries and the offensive line challenges, Kramer did not have the success everyone hoped for when he signed here. He played 2 full seasons as a starter in 1995 and 1997. His best season was the 1995 season, where the Bears went 9-7. He holds the Bears' single-season record for passing yards at 3,838 yards, and touchdowns 29, and attempts in a single game with 60. He left in 1998 and played for San Diego in 1999, but retired midseason due to neck injury. He compiled a record of 18-28, throwing for 10,582 yards, and 63 touchdowns, 45 interceptions on 58% completion. He is 6th on the Bears' all-time passing list.
Them touchdowns, though.
Number 6.
Number 6, Rex Grossman.
Oh,
Rex
Lord.
Grossman in the 2003 draft. He had the promise coming out of Florida. After 2 season-ending injuries to start off his career, he finally appeared to take off in the 3rd season in 2006. Rex Grossman was September's Offensive Player of the Month, but he had a sporadic year, leading the Bears to the Super Bowl that year. That season, his best season, Grossman threw for 3,193 yards with 23 touchdowns and 20 interceptions with 54% completion. Unfortunately, that was his best year. Grossman was released in 2008. He is one of the few quarterbacks to help win in the playoffs and make it to the Super Bowl. He played in 36 games from 2003 to 2008. Grossman compiled a 19-12 record, throwing for 6,164 yards with 33 touchdowns and 35 interceptions. He is 14th on the Bears' all-time passing list.
Number 5.
Oh, God.
That's my boy, Blue.
Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky was drafted with the 2nd pick in the 2017 draft. He played for 3 years. He was supposed to sit his rookie year and develop, but was pressed into action early. Mitch showed flashes of potential with his athleticism, but coaching changes and different OCs plagued him.
They did you
The
wrong,
quarterback
Mitch.
of the team that made it to the 2018 playoffs. His best season was the 2018 season, where he threw for 3,223 yards with 24 touchdowns and 12 interceptions with a 66% completion percentage and a QBR of 95.4. Trubisky became the first Bears quarterback selected to the Pro Bowl, the first since 1985. Trubisky's total career did not seem to impress the front office enough to extend his contract, and he was released after the 2020 season, where he signed with Buffalo as a backup, and is currently a backup for Pittsburgh. In total, Trubisky played 51 games with a 29-21 record. He threw for 10,609 yards with 64 touchdowns and 37 interceptions, with a career rating of 87.2. He has the best QBR rating of all the Bears. He is fifth on the Bears' all-time passing list.
37, that's my boy.
Number 4.
Number 4, Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler arrived to Hallis Hall in 2009 via trade with the Denver Broncos. He was drafted 11th overall in the 2006 draft. Cutler came with some fanfare as a young Pro Bowler who threw for 4,526 yards his last year in Denver. Cutler's tenure is the longest of the Bears quarterbacks. He played with the Bears from 2009 to 2016. His best year was the 2010 season, where the Bears were 11-5 and made it to the playoffs, but lost the conference championship to the team up north. Cutler threw for 3,274 yards with 23 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, with a 60% completion and an 86.3 QBR. The Bears finished 10-6 in 2012, but didn't make the playoffs and the team regressed. Cutler was released after the 2016 season and played 1 year in Miami and retired afterwards. In total, Cutler played 102 games, posted a 51-51 record. He threw for 23,443 yards, with 154 touchdowns and 109 interceptions, with a 61% completion percentage and an 85.2 QBR. He is first on the Bears' all-time passing list.
Number 3.
Number 3, Billy Wade. Billy Wade was a 7-year veteran when he came to the Bears. He was the former number 1 pick in the 1952 draft. He played all 7 seasons with the Rams. He then asked to be traded to the Bears. He took over for Ed Brown in 1961. He played for the Bears from 1961 through 1966. He quarterbacked the team that won the Bears their first championship in 1963, when the Bears went 11-1-2. He threw for 2,301 yards, with 15 touchdowns and 12 interceptions that year. One of his best seasons was the 1962 year, where he threw for 3,172 yards. He threw for 18 touchdowns, but with 24 interceptions. He led the league in pass completions and attempts. He is one of the few Bears to throw for over 3,000 yards. He made the Pro Bowl in 1963. In total, Billy Wade played in 59 games with a 27-20-2 record. He threw for 9,958 yards with 68 touchdowns and 66 interceptions. He is 7th on the Bears' all-time passing list.
There's no black guys on this team.
Number 2.
Number 2, Jim McMahon. Jim McMahon was drafted 5th overall in the 1982 draft. He was a charismatic, punky QB from the minute he stepped out of the limousine. McMahon had a 6-year career with the Bears from 1982 to 1988. He had a penchant for calling audibles against the chagrin of Coach Ditka, but would ultimately be successful. McMahon was the NFC Rookie of the Year in 1982. He played with no regard for his body, which resulted in many injury-marred seasons. He quarterbacked the Bears to their first Super Bowl in 1985 since 1963, perhaps playing a part in one of the greatest seasons and greatest teams of all time. In the 85 year, he threw for 2,392 yards with 15 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, with a 56.9% completion percentage. He never threw for over 3,000 yards in a season. A cheap shot in Week 12 in 1986 forever changed the trajectory of McMahon, where injuries cut short the greatness of the 80s Bears. Despite the injuries, he won 22 consecutive regular season games, a feat which wasn't broken until Peyton Manning in 23. With McMahon eventually playing, the Bears had great records: 10-6 in 84, 15-1 in 85, 14-2 in 86, 11-4 in 87, and 12-4 in 88. After falling out with the front office and the coach, he was traded to the San Diego Chargers. In total, McMahon played in 66 games, posting a 46-15 record. He threw for 11,203 yards, with 67 touchdowns and 56 interceptions, with a 58% completion percentage. with a career 80.4 QBR. He is 4th on the Bears' all-time passing list.
I'm willing to bet that was an INT he threw with that form right there, though.
Number 1.
Number 1, Sid Luckman. Sid Luckman was drafted number 2 overall by Pittsburgh and then traded to the Bears in 1939. He pioneered a new version of the T formation. George Halas designed the system for his skill set, and Luckman took off. Luckman was a winner, and he put up numbers in the 40s. In 1943, Luckman completed 110 of 202 passes for 2,194 yards and 28 touchdowns with 12 interceptions. His 13.9% touchdown rate that year is the best ever in a single season, while his 10.9 yards per attempt is second all time. During one game that year, Luckman threw for 443 yards and 7 touchdowns, still tied for the most passing touchdowns in one game. It was also the first 400-yard passing game in NFL history. His 28 touchdown passes in 1943 in only 10 games was a record that lasted until 1959, a 12-game season. Luckman led the NFL in yards per attempt, an NFL record 7 times, including 5 consecutive years from 1939 to 1943, and led the NFL in passing yards 3 times. Luckman was a 5-time All-NFL selection, was named the National Football League's Most Valuable Player Award in 1943, and led the Monsters of the Midway to championships in 1940, 1941, 1943, and 1946. Despite the fact that his career ended in 1950, Luckman still owns several Bears passing records. Luckman was very decorated as a player, also including a 5-time first-team All-Pro 1941 through 44 and 1947, 3-time NFL All-Star, 3-time NFL passing yard leader, 3-time passing touchdown leader, 3-time NFL passer rating leader, NFL completion percentage leader. In total, Luckman threw for 14,686 yards, 147 touchdowns, and 132 interceptions on 52% completion. He is second on the Bears
all-time passing, bro. Oh my God, he's second all time.
1940s, dude. That's
Hey man, shout out to you, Jay. This is cold. This is cold.
appreciate you, man. I
This
mean,
was cold.
it was
Hey, I just want to say this though, dog. Our best QB absolutely saw when blacks got the right to vote. our best QB.
Our best QB
No,
called them the
Negroes.
blacks.
No,
for
they
sure.
were
Yeah, he
Negroes.
said,
It was Negroes.
he
Hey,
said Negroes.
there was no blacks in the stadium at the time he played.
Bro.
That's
Here's
brutal.
the tough
that's
part,
all we
right?
got, man.
Here's the tough part, right? Like, do you got?
He's second all time, bro.
Oh, wait. So check this out. I did a comparison just to show y'all how bad this really is. So
Welcome to the Windy City.
running it back.
my fault. Hold on.
Oh, don't tell me you did a Green Bay one for fun. There's only 3 people up there.
Hold on. Let me take this transition this back. Hold on. I'll bring it back up in a second. Go ahead. Let me find that though.
I mean, that's
cold. I ain't
you
gonna lie.
gotta turn the video off on the other one. That's bro. And here's the crazy part, right? Like my argument for guys, like it's like arguing for trash over trash.
Well, it just shows that the bar is low. Like Fields,
Like my God, bro. Like if Justin Fields has a regular season,
a regular career.
this season. If Justin Fields has a regular season, he's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. Our Hunt said Jackie Robinson had just broke the color barrier.
Oh God, yo, that's a fact right there.
Bro,
That's a fact.
Ricky was just letting black people come in.
That's a fact.
Here we go. Check this out. There we go. Sid Luckman, 11 years. He played, had 14,000 yards total. He ranks 161 in the NFL history. Jay Cutler, at the same amount of time, he threw for 35,000 in his total career, but he was 20,000 here with the Bears.
23, yeah.
Look at Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, 70,000, 80,000, 89,000. I mean, just to see where we are, the bar is kind of low for us as Bear fans to finally get a quarterback in here that could do something.
Here's the tough part about all of this, right?
I love the fact that you intentionally excluded one team.
Look at the rest of that list, though, right? Peyton Manning spent how much? He spent what, 13 years with the Colts?
More than that, I think he
14
had 3
years because he only did 3 years.
Yeah,
with,
14,
so
yeah.
14 years with
Like
the
3
Colts.
years.
Drew Brees spent 17 years, I believe, or 16 years with the Saints. Tom Brady
No,
spends
19 years. He's
with-
19.
No, remember he starts with the Chargers.
Yeah, he starts with the Chargers.
Right.
Tom Brady
right.
spends 19 or 20 years
Yeah.
with bro. Sid Luckman is the only one that we've had that lasted 11 years, bro.
But the thing is, he was a pioneer of the NFL.
Bro, you want to know what my
position.
issue? Oh God, here, bring the camera back, bro.
It's coming. It's
Bring the
coming off.
camera
This,
back.
it's
No,
coming
what
back.
I'm saying,
There you go.
here's
There you
the
go.
issue. Here's the
Yeah.
issue. Sid Luckman was good when no one else had a quarterback. He invented it. George Hallis was like, "What do we put this guy
He
back there and
still-
throw the football?"
but the-
what?
but
You're
listen,
crazy,
Pat,
outrageous.
But listen, Pat, the point is that it's like it is
Hey, bro,
today.
Joe.
A coaching scheme, the coach saw talent and he put a scheme around the guy's talent and then he exploited it, right?
Hey, Joe.
That's the whole point.
Hey, Joe. You want to know what quarterback he went up against?
No quarterback.
Nobody.
I
He
get it.
was the only one.
Tell me how you feel about it, Pat.
My God, my grandfather enjoyed some great football, didn't he?
I'm just saying the point is that you look this stuff up and like that's all we got, I mean, what do you want me to do?
This pisses me off so much. No, go back. Go
Can-
back.
Hey, wait. Can I make one statement?
What shot? What?
Do it again. The first
Can I
shot.
make one statement?
This makes me so mad right here, bro.
It's pretty bad.
That's our all-time list. Can I make one statement though?
Yeah.
Y'all know Sid Luckman, although being the only one, still a relatively new concept. He had a season where he threw for nearly 2,200 yards.
I know. I just said that.
You know how many most yards Justin has thrown?
Okay, all right.
I just want to throw that
Here
out.
we go.
Just want to throw that out there.
Just-
That's the most yards Justin's thrown for 2,200 and some change. I just want to throw that out there. The last time that he had more games to do it. Just want to put that out there.
Kid's that dude that's just like, hey, I heard something really bad happened to you. Let me add on to that. Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
listen,
listen.
that's awful. And here's the thing: the only one let me look here. The only one I would debate you with, the only one I would debate you with is right because how much goes into the quarterback's actual success versus what the team did for him.
Correct.
Because Rex Grossman is 6 to me is crazy.
Actually, if I was,
I wouldn't put Rex on.
you know
this
why I
list
did that?
realistically.
Because he won a game
went
to
to the
get
Super
us
Bowl.
to the Super Bowl. Like he actually came through against the Saints.
Hey, he had a game.
No, but I'm saying that. I mean, dude, trust me. I mean, Kyle Orton barely made the list here. I mean, like we got Bob Avellini, Johnny Lujak. We got a bunch of dudes in here.
My favorite thing was somebody in the comments going, "I swear to God, if Bob Avellini's on this list."
This Evans was not a
I
good
riot.
quarterback. So my point was why I put, if anything, Eric Kramer couldn't stay healthy. He only had 2 good seasons. He actually was a real passer,
Eric Kramer, could
but the
pass.
line was trash and
Yeah.
the defense was bad when he took over. Jim Harbaugh didn't play until like 3 years in, and he's fighting with Ditka. And then they actually had a decent squad, but he didn't really pan out.
Yeah.
So I just put in like with Mitch. Mitch at least they got it to a Pro Bowl. Cutler is only there because
Mitch,
really.
no, here's the wild part. This is where I say numbers lie. I don't.
Nah, Mitch was cooking.
Oh,
Maserati Mitch. You ain't gonna talk down on Mitch.
You want to know why? Because I remember this. I
He's a
remember
top 5
I
QB for our history.
this verbatim. Graham was on the team, ran out to the flat. Mitch looked this man dead in his eye. DB standing right next to Jimmy Graham, threw it to him. Kid said, "You got to bench him."
Yeah.
Kid was off of Mitch. Kid got off of Mitch. Kid got back
Oh,
on Mitch.
God.
When Mitch left the Bears. That's why I ain't stunting Kid about Mitch at all. But the
Hey,
fact
I
that
don't care what you say.
legitimately, if you sit here just base it off the numbers, it's not even a question, right? Outside of Sid Luckman and guys like that. But like as far as modern passers, he's the best that we got, and he couldn't throw.
No, I mean, we still had issues
He still can't
of
throw.
finding. First of all, Mitch came. There's no real scheme that we had, right? John Fox trying to keep his job. Then he's supposed to sit for a year, and he gets thrown out there. There's no system in
I
plan.
give him. I shoot him bail on the rookie year. The rookie year was crazy.
Right, but
I don't think much remember how bad I thought, bro. I go back and do yourselves a favor just to remind yourselves where we've been poverty wise.
Poverty.
Mitch rookie year, I thought that was the worst defense of all time with Mel Tucker.
Yeah.
Last year's was worse.
It was pretty bad. But I think the thing is, like, most of these guys Jim McMahon technically would probably drop because they had one of the great defenses. But see, if McMahon was healthy,
McMahon had good numbers.
If he was healthy and didn't use his body as a freaking punching bag,
Yeah.
they would probably have won a whole lot more.
Yeah.
At least they would have. They were still 14-2. They were still 12-4. They were still competitive. with their
McMahon had
defense.
good numbers too, though.
Yeah.
Like he just couldn't stay healthy.
But the thing is, they had a good running game. But Ditka actually gets more credit for he wasn't a great offensive coach. What are you looking for?
Jim Harbaugh made this list.
Jim Harbaugh.
That's a tough one right there, dog.
Hey man, he has some. Hey, they had he played all 16 games.
It's the pride.
Wait, no, but
no, we can't start with that. Wait a minute, that's how bad it is.
But see, he leaves and goes to the Colts, and they go and they do well. He's the comeback kid.
He played all 16 games.
No, but they went. That's how bad it was. There's no line.
Hey, listen. Shout out Damian Hernandez. Always in here, resident hater of anything Chicago. But I think he's a fan. I think he actually just hates like how our teams are poverty. He said, I will say this list isn't as bad as Ringo's Mount Rushmore. That was a bad time. That was a bad time.
It's a bad time right there.
That Mount Rushmore was crazy.
To me, Eric Kramer was done the most disservice. That dude, they said he didn't play in 96.
Yeah.
He played 95 and then 97.
And then 97. He was dead in 96.
Right. Like it's like they couldn't give this guy an offensive line. They didn't have the defense was at the Chris Zorich years. Like we just didn't have it. It's sad to see that for the first time in a very long time, we have a system in place with a coaching staff with hopefully Justin Fields. Like that's how crazy this is.
Listen. I need y'all to
great.
He said the first time in a very long time. Bro, legitimately, this is the first time we've had talent from leadership down since George Staley Hallis.
No, since 85. Jerry Vanassi and the 85 guys were great.
I'm saying, like, were you just confident about the talent at every position from leadership down?
Yeah, 85. That's it. Hallis,
you were confident in the offense?
No, they were the number one rushing team, and they had the.
Well, you were confident in Walter.
Well,
you weren't confident in your
You
quarterback.
had a great offensive. They had one of the best offensive lines. Like the talent,
Thayer.
They drafted very well.
Thayer, yeah.
And that period of time from
I
84.
I asked Thayer on the stage. I said, "How many snaps you got left in you? We need some.
Right.
We might."
He did.
But my point is that team, that era, like 85 is one of the best years ever. But from 84 to about 88 they had a good run. They just couldn't finish it off. That's all. But it was fun to just look this stuff up and try to, figure out like, man.
I'm glad you still got me zoomed in because I'm just in disgust.
Hey, you know what though? I gotta say this. The whole chat has agreed this was trash from the perspective of
Hey, but here's the thing. Nobody's sitting here calling what Joel did trash.
People say he need a raise.
Trash. Hey man, we will have this list posted on the channel as well. This is so bad. Oh man, appreciate you guys being showing love. That's pretty much all I got to give for this week, man. We will not be back. Well, kid, I think you said you're gonna do something Monday, right?
We're gonna do some basketball on Monday, man. We're gonna try to mix it up just a little bit, something light. I know some people in the Discord have been talking basketball. It's a lot of other stuff out there. Plus, probably get some content over there on PK Talks NBA, just to mix it up a little bit, because it's only so much speculation you can have for football. At this point, I just kind of want to see what happens on the field, but I know we got to talk about it Tuesday through Friday leading up to it. So
thanks, Coach. Thanks, Baki. Appreciate you guys.
We will be back as a full-on show Tuesday, bringing more content, more Bears talk. Packers week coming up, so stay tuned in with us for that. Stay locked in with everything I got going over on ESPN as well. I believe the podcast is up now over on the ESPN Chicago app, so tune into that, and we will have the top 10 Chicago Bears quarterbacks of all time list up. God, it's bad. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Appreciate you guys for showing love. Justin Fields, I love how you started off with like, hey, Justin, just do anything and we'll put you on this list.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.